Good morning, everyone. My name is Shashikant Bharadwaj. Today, we are going to study about circular motion. In this natural world, we can see that all the bodies have a tendency to move in a curved path. Such kind of motion in which the body moves in a curved path is called curvilinear motion. And circular motion is the simplest type of curvilinear motion. So today we will study about the circular motion. So the simplest type of curvilinear motion is circular motion. So today we will study about the circular motion. Circular motion is any motion in which the body moves on a circular path or a circular track. In circular motion we can see that at every point the direction of body changes. We can see here by taking an example. Suppose this is a body of mass m is moving on a circular track having the radius of the circular path is r. So this body of mass m is moving on a circular path. So we can see here that at every point the direction of body changes. We can see here that the body changes its direction at every point. So in this lecture we will study about the circular motions, types of circular motions like uniform circular motions, non-uniform circular motions, vertical circular motions, horizontal circular motions, terms related to circular motions like angular displacement, angular velocity, tangential velocity, tangential acceleration, centripetal acceleration, centripetal force, centrifugal force, and the motion of a body on a banked road and unbanked road. So these are the topics that we will going to cover in this lecture. So let's discuss some examples of circular motions. Here we can see that the revolution of moon around the earth is also a circular motion. We can see here that the moon is revolving around the earth in a circular path. Okay, so this is also called circular motion. Here we have another example. We can see that a centrifugal machine, rotor, mixer grinder all have blades and they revolve and they move in a circular path. So this is also called a circular motion. Here we can see that the motion of the blades of the fan is also a circular motion. We can see here that this is the tip of a blade of a fan and this is the hub with which all the fans blades are attached. We can see here that the tip of a fan is in a circular motion. So the motion of the blades of the fan is a circular motion. But one thing I want to tell you that there is a special kind of circular motion that we call rotational motion. In rotational motion, the body rotates about its own axis. So here we can see that the hub is rotating about its own axis. So here we can see that the hub is in rotational motion. There is some difference between the circular motion and rotational motion. In rotational motion, the radius is small as compared to the circular motion. In circular motion, the radius appears large as compared to the radius in rotational motion. But rotational motion is also a type of circular motion. That's why we say that rotational motion is a special type of circular motion. So these are the examples we have discussed. Okay, now we will discuss some terms related to circular motions. First of all, we will discuss the angular displacement. Angular displacement. The angular displacement is denoted by theta. See, we know that when we have studied in the rectilinear motion, displacement is the shortest path between the initial and final position. But in circular motion or rotational motion, we can see that the angular displacement, the displacement of a body in terms of angle is called angular displacement. Mathematically, we can write the angular displacement as the ratio of the length of arc to the radius of circular path. So here we can see that the mass of a body initially was at position A. After some interval of time, it have reached to a point B. So when the body has reached to a point B, so it have covered an angle theta, and the length of arc is L. So angular displacement is defined as the ratio of the length of arc to the radius of circular path. So theta equals to L upon R. So this is the formula of angular displacement. Now we have another term, angular velocity. The rate of change of angular displacement is called angular velocity. If the body is making an angle or changing its angle with respect to time, then the rate of change of angular displacement is called angular velocity. So it is denoted by omega. So we can see here that d theta over dt, that is change in angular displacement per unit time or change in time. So the rate of change of angular displacement is called angular velocity. Angular velocity is a vector quantity. Okay, so we can write it in the vector form also. So omega vector equals to d theta vector upon dt. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you, that the angular displacement is measured in radian. So the SI unit is radian. Here we are talking about the plane angle. So this is the angular displacement. Now we have another term, that is angular acceleration. Angular acceleration, and we denote it by alpha. So in the rectilinear motion, we have studied that the rate of change of linear velocity is called acceleration. In the same way, in circular motion or rotational mechanics, we can define the angular acceleration as the rate of change of angular velocity. The rate of change of angular velocity is called angular acceleration. So if the body is changing its angular velocity with respect to time, then the body will going to have an angular acceleration. So angular acceleration is equals to d omega over dt, and its SI unit is radian per second square, and its SI unit is radian per second. So the body, if the body is changing its angular velocity, then the body will have angular acceleration. Now another term we will study, centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration. And we denote the centripetal acceleration by AC. Yes, we can see here that if the body is moving in a circular path, then an acceleration always tends towards the center of the circular track or circular path. Thus, acceleration of the body along the radius towards the center of circular path is called centripetal acceleration. So the body is always tending towards the center of the circular path. So that's why we can denote this by AC. So this is a centripetal acceleration. So centripetal acceleration is equal to v square upon r. This is a formula of centripetal acceleration. Now there is some relation between the angular velocity and the linear velocity. In the same way, there is also a relation between the angular acceleration and the linear acceleration or tangential acceleration. We can see that the relation between the tangential velocity and the angular velocity. Suppose the body is moving tangentially with the velocity v. So v equals to r omega is the relation between the tangential velocity and the angular velocity. In the same way, a equals to or at equals to r alpha is the relation between tangential acceleration and the angular acceleration. Now we will study another term in the circular motion, that is frequency. What do you understand by frequency? So frequency is defined as the number of cycle per second. See, if any body is passing through a point, then how many cycle or circle it can complete in 1 second, that number of cycle per second is called frequency. The number of cycle per second is called frequency. Okay, so frequency is defined as the reciprocal of time period, that is called 1 upon t. Then what is time period? We will study further. Then frequency is the reciprocal of time period. Its SI unit of frequency is hertz. SZ hertz. Now what is time period? Time period is the total time taken by the body to complete one circle or one cycle. The time taken by the body to complete one circular path is called time period. So if I am at this point and I am taking some time such that my path will be completed, my circular path will be completed. So the time taken by me to complete the one circle or one circular path is called time period. So we can say here that time period t. So we can say that time period is also the reciprocal of frequency. Simple. And it is measured in seconds. So time period is measured in seconds. Okay. So these are the terms which are related to circular motion. Now we will study about the difference between uniform circular motion and non-uniform circular motion. See, a body is said to be in uniform circular motion if it moves on a circular path with a constant speed. If the body is moving with a constant speed, then why we are saying that it is uniformly accelerated motion? So we will study that why the uniform circular motion is also called the uniformly accelerated motion. Okay, so here we can answer this question. See, this body of mass m is moving on this circular path, and we know that at every point the direction of the body is changing. If the direction of the body is changing but the body is moving with a constant speed, so speed is not changing. Okay, but we can see here that the direction of the body is changing. So if direction is changing, then definitely velocity can be changed, and we know that change in velocity is called what? Change in velocity per unit time is called acceleration. That's why uniform circular motion is also called uniformly accelerated motion. If the body is not moving with a constant speed and the speed is changing and direction is also changing, we know that, then the body cannot be said to be as uniform. Okay, then the body is said to be in non-uniform circular motion. So this is the difference between uniform circular motion and non-uniform circular motion. Now we will discuss about the centripetal force. The force which acts towards the center of the circular path or circular motion is called centripetal force. We know that whenever a body moves on a circular path, then it always tends towards the center of circular path. So the force which always acts towards the center along the radius of the circular path, that force is called centripetal force. And we can see that here this is the body of mass m is revolving or moving in a circular path of radius r. The body is having a tangential velocity v. Then a force which always keeps this body along the circular path, which acts along the radius of the circular path, is called centripetal force. So we can see here that the centripetal force is acting towards the center of the circle. So the formula of force according to Newton's second law of motion is mass into acceleration. But which acceleration we will take? We will take the centripetal acceleration because the body is moving along the circular path. So F Cp is equals to m into AC. AC means centripetal acceleration that we have discussed in the last topic. Okay, so FCP is equals to mv square upon r. So this is the value of centripetal force. This force always acts towards the center of the circular path. But there is another kind of force that is called centrifugal force. So centrifugal force, let's discuss what is centrifugal force. Centrifugal force, FCF. See, we know that according to Newton's third law of motion, to every action there is equivalent opposite reaction. So if body is moving in a circular path, then the centripetal force keeps the body along the circular path and which acts along the radius of the circle towards the center. But this is the action. So a reaction force will also produced which acts along the radius but away from the center of the circular path. Okay. So we know that according to Newton's third law of motion, the action force will always equal and opposite to the reaction force. So this centrifugal force is kind of a pseudo force. Pseudo force is a kind of fictitious force. Okay. So centrifugal force is a reaction of the centripetal force. So it have the same magnitude. So FCF, centrifugal force, is equals to mv square upon r. Okay. So we can produce some more formula of this force or this force. We know that V equals to R omega. So here we can put FCF is equals to m R omega square upon R. So m R square omega square upon R. So the final formula we will get the centrifugal or centripetal m R omega square. So this is also a formula of centripetal or centrifugal force. Okay, the force that acts towards center is called centripetal. The force which acts away from the center of the circular path is called centrifugal force. But these forces are always equal and opposite. We can see here so many examples of centripetal force. If we attached a stone or tied a stone with a string and start revolving in a horizontal circle, then the tension of that string will be a centripetal force. In the same way, our earth or moon, we can say moon is revolving around the earth, and the gravitational force of the earth or the gravitational force between the earth and the moon keeps the moon in the circular path. Okay. Now we will discuss about the motion of a car during turning on a banked road. The banked road are those roads which have some kind of inclination, and on that inclined road we have to take a safe turn. We have to take a safe circular turn. So we can see that so many examples of banked road, that is, if we are moving our car on a hilly region and we have to take a circular turn, then that case will be a type of what? Banked road. Okay, so in that road we have to take a safe turn. So we have a circular banked road, or we can say banked circular road, and the body have to take a safe circular turn on that banked road. So this is the angle of banking, or the banking angle, and on that road the body have to turn safely on a circular track. So first of all we will consider so many forces that acts on the body. See, we can see here that this is the body of mass m. So the mass m, so the body is of what? M mass. Then the weight of the body will act towards the earth, that is called mg. Now we will resolve this force into mg cos theta, and we know that in the same way a reaction force will also act, that is called r. This is a reaction force r. So again we will resolve this r into its two rectangular components. This is r cos theta and this is r sin theta. Now we know that friction force is also acting between the tires and the surface of the road. So the friction force will act along this direction, F. Okay, so if I take the angle, then this is theta, so this is F cos theta and this is F sin theta. So I am resolving this all the forces here. This is the body. Here the mg, that is weight, is acting. This is the angle of inclination or the banking angle. This is mg cos theta. This is r. This is r cos theta. This is r sin theta. And the friction force is acting in this direction along the surface of the inclined plane. So again we will resolve its rectangular components. So this is F cos theta and this is F sin theta. One more force will also act, that is mv square upon r. mv square upon r. Okay, so we have to balance the net force in the horizontal direction and the vertical direction, because we have to find out the safe velocity during turning on the banked road. Okay, so if we see that there is no net motion in the vertical direction, that means the upward force must have to be equal with the downward force. So net force in vertical direction is equals to 0. We know that because there is no net movement or motion in the vertical direction. So the net force in the vertical direction is 0. So we can say here that the upward force must be equal to the downward force. So we can see here that mg plus F sin theta equals to r cos theta. So mg equals to r cos theta minus F sin theta. Again we will use the formula of friction force, that is mu s into r, that is r is the normal reaction. Okay, so mg equals r cos theta minus mu s r sin theta. This is the first equation. Now we will see here that the net force in the horizontal direction, that is at the left hand side, must be equal to the net force in the horizontal direction at right hand side. So this centrifugal force equates these two forces. So in horizontal direction, this r sin theta plus f cos theta equals mv square over r. We can write it as also mv square upon r equals r sin theta plus mu s r cos theta. This will be the second equation. If we divide the second equation with the first equation, then we will obtain, apply equation second divided by equation first. So we can see here that mv square upon r upon mg equals r sin theta plus mu s r cos theta upon r cos theta minus mu s r sin theta. We can cut m from both sides, from the numerator and denominator. So v square upon rg equals, and if we take common r from numerator and denominator, then it will be cut. Okay, so we can write it as sin theta plus mu s cos theta upon r cos theta minus mu s, not cos theta, minus mu s sin theta. Okay, so if I divide both numerator and denominator by cos theta, or we can say that if I take cos theta from numerator and denominator, we will obtain as v square upon rg equals to cos theta. Here we will get sin theta upon cos theta plus mu s upon, again we will take cos theta common from the denominator, cos theta equals 1 minus mu s sin theta upon cos theta, and we know that sin theta upon cos theta is equals to tan theta. So v square upon rg equals tan mu s plus tan theta upon 1 minus mu s tan theta. If I multiply the rg to the right hand side, so I will get v square equals to rg mu s. So ultimately I can write it as under root rg mu s plus tan theta upon 1 minus mu s tan theta. So this is the safe velocity. So we have obtained this safe velocity of turning during the banked road. So under root Rg mu s tan theta upon 1 minus mu s tan theta. This is a safe velocity during turning on the banked road. Okay. So we have derived this formula. Thank you. Thank you so much. Motion of a car on unbanked road. Unbanked road means the road which have zero inclination. So we have a straight road. Suppose on this straight road a car is moving with some velocity, and suddenly a circular turn occurs, and the body have to turn safely without any skidding or slipping. So what will be the safe velocity so that the body can turn safely without any slipping? So that we have to calculate. So we have considered a body of mass m, and the body is turning on a circular road which have zero inclination. So we have considered a body. When the body have reached to this position, so this is the center of the circular path and it is the radius. We know that whenever body moves on a circular path, then a centripetal force acts on it. So centripetal force will act on it, that is FCP. But there is some kind of friction between the tires of the car and the surface of the road. So when the centripetal force acts on the body, in the same time the friction force acts between the tires. If the body is not slipping, so to avoid any kind of slipping, the centripetal force must be equal to the maximum friction force between the tires and the surface of the road. So to keep in the circular path of the body and without any slipping, then to avoid slipping, FCP must be equal to the maximum friction force. And we know that the centripetal force, this body is of mass m and moving with the velocity v. Okay, so mv square upon r equal to maximum friction force, that is mu into mu s into r. R is a normal reaction. Okay, R is a normal reaction. So here we can further derive mv square upon r equals mu s into, the reaction is equal to mg, so mu s into mg. We can cut the m from both sides, so v square equals rmg. So v equals under root mu s rg. So v equals under root mu s rg. So this is the safe velocity with which the body can turn along the circular path without any slipping. So this is the safe velocity during turning on the unbanked road. Okay, so the velocity, the maximum velocity should be mu s into rg. If the body will exceed this safe velocity, exceeds then this safe velocity, definitely the body will slip. Okay, so this is the safe velocity of the body during turning on a circular turn on an unbanked road. Okay, now we will discuss the motion of a car on a banked road.